Time for a wave build update. I've been waving with my current gold build for a while now, another million waves or so it's time to spice things up a little bit and go a little bit deeper into poison and also add another element into the build as well, and we are going with ice. So what I did was I removed Thor from my build and Bishop as well, and I added in Poseidon as an ice hero and Sarah as a poison leader. And the gold I need to get from somewhere, so I reset my Dark Lightning Archer and my Thor. Although I did end up leveling my Dark Lightning Archer a little bit, but she's now on lower level than what she was previously in my old build. Let's take a look at a couple of waves, and then we will go through results, skill tree, everything, items for the heroes as well, and so on. So, first of all, I want to say this build requires quite a few skill points. I currently have over 200 skill points on this main account, although I did try running this build on 160 skill points overnight as well, and it ran just fine. Obviously, I do have a lot of levels and pretty decent items, I would say, on my heroes, so those will play a huge role. But all in all, even 160 skill points is quite a lot to run, so in early game you kind of don't have skill points to divide between three trees, because you will need the ice tree, you will need lightning tree, and you will need poison tree to boost all of your damage dealer heroes for this build. So that's quite a lot, and you also need to get into the physical tree as well. I will go through the skill tree in a moment, but basically this build currently has 5 different damage dealers, which is a little bit unusual for me. Usually I've been running just 4. So we have Zeus, we have Poseidon, we have Succubus, we have Dark Lightning Archer, and we have Sarah. So there's 2 lightning units, 2 poison units, and 1 ice unit for this build. And compared to the old build, the wave speed is basically the same for me. I've been getting pretty much the same waves per hour with the old setup and with this setup. So in terms of wave speed, there's not really much of a difference. There is, however, a difference in terms of farming, because Sarah is much better farming leader than Thor is. Thor is not terrible at all, but Sarah is just more of a boss killer, so it helps you with your dungeon farming and your dragon farming as well. So let's take a look at the results a little bit. Here we can see in some waves Poseidon does really great in waves, in total damage done. He does incredible damage. It really varies a little bit wave by wave, but he does quite well. And Dark Lightning Archer is just the lowest level out of these 5, so she's just meant to be there to give that little bit more boost to maybe against like Zeppelin during the wave, but especially against the bosses at the end of the wave. The boss results look like something like this. Also, this kind of varies a little bit. Succubus is just absolutely cracked. She is my highest level unit for sure, so that also affects these stats, but she does super great damage, both in overall during the wave and also in against bosses as well. She does require nice items and low cooldowns for your pure wizard and so on to run effectively, but in later game that can be pretty decent thing to run. And Poseidon also kinda varies. As you can see in here, he is just 6th with 7% boss damage done, and in here he's 2nd for me. So this is it varies quite a lot where he is. Here he's 5th again, but he does some boss damage as well. So I will gladly take it. Anything that helps me kill the bosses faster is at this point is a welcome thing. And gold from these waves is something like this. Also, there's a variation between the waves quite a lot, but yeah, that's pretty much the gold income. I have the same amount of cooldown skill level +1 lines in this build that I had previously, so my pure wizard is on 6 seconds right now. I have the same item still on my pure wizard, so this staff I'm still looking to improve with a DCD IQ. And this is my not so great DCD IQ, but I will gladly take it. So I have a 6-second pure wizard with this setup for my units. And let's start by Poseidon items, I suppose, because he is the newcomer for this build. So he's on level 500,000 for this build, around 0.05 ratio, running triple critical hammer with some boss damage runes. I think you could run like ice damage, cold damage runes as well, other stuff like that. I'll just I'll take this. It's a very decent hammer, so it really fits Poseidon quite well for this purpose. For the accessory, I am running cold damage runes in here. This one, both of them could use some improvements, so cooldown skill level +1 lines for both of them, but these are quite nice. And for the orb, I'm running the gold orb, which gives me 29% critical chance for a gold hero. It's almost a max roll, so I got really lucky rerolling this one earlier today. And with this, I have almost 90% critical chance and decent amount of critical damage as well. Another newcomer for the build is Sarah, and Sarah is just... the main thing you want is to aim for the max strafe duration cooldown, which is 4 seconds. That means the strafe is up full time. And I'm just running my old Dark Lightning Archer items really in here. So there could be a little bit room for improvement. They are really decent. They fit Sarah nicely. And I have the Poison Orb in here as well. Kinda nice roll as well, close to the max as well. So I'm super satisfied with that one as well. And the other units, Zeus, uses the same items as before. I have shown this in the previous way build video. Let's go through them. So they are really, really nice as well. And my Succubus also has the same items as before. Again, in this staff, the area skill damage is useless. It doesn't help Succubus at all. So I would need to try and improve this with any other line that would help. Attack speed, poison damage, critical chance or damage for this line would be absolutely fantastic to get. But yeah, there's room for improvement. And also in here, this is a great item again. I just would like to get an E version of this with a cooldown skill level +1 line or something else as an E line. And Orb of Luck on my Succubus over here. Then we have the 5th and the lowest level damage dealer of the build, who is Dark Lightning Archer. And well, her items currently, yeah, they have a lot of room for improvement at this point. Though critical damage and lightning damage, both of the lines do help. That's just the useless line. Only one rune in here. I don't really plan on adding second rune for this item. I just need to hunt for a better bow for my Dark Lightning Archer. And this is just an old item from my Giants. I miss you guys so much. Please make a comeback at some time. Thank you. So yeah, this is just a damage and critical chance line. Summon unit is of course useless, but just some attack speed and some cooldown skill level +1. So it works for now. Gives me those cooldown skill level +1 lines for the build. And for Dark Lightning Archer, I just have the Orb of Power, because the other orbs are currently in use. In Zeus, I had the critical damage orb. So there we go. There's the orb, there's the damage dealer items. And I'm just gonna quickly go through the other items in here as well. So those who are interested will be able to see the full items I'm running for this build. So here is chrono items. And we are going to Dark Necromancer, who I don't need to double proc at this point. If you are in earlier game, you will want to try and make Dark Necromancer's cooldown to be lower than your Pure Wizard. But since I have a 6-second Pure Wizard, I don't need that anymore. Like, if you have below 8-second Pure Wizard, then you probably don't need to try and double proc your Dark Necromancer anymore. That reminds me, I also would like to try and have Poseidon cooldown to be lower than Pure Wizard, so double procking Poseidon. I cannot get that to work with my items, with my Pure Wizard, but if you can try and get that to work, that might be really, really nice thing to have. So if you have super good cooldown items that could be used on Poseidon, that would be a worth testing. There's been no changes for these items either. This one still lacks some runes. I could use MP cost reduction runes, but I might use that elsewhere, so I don't really need to possibly rune that item. And Dark Assassin is just level 10,000, so he only needs to apply the critical debuff and get some cooldown skill level +1 lines in for the build. Slingers have crowd control lines, knockback, slow, attack speed, and stun lines to help me, and with the static orb as well. Help me deal a little bit extra damage to monsters and to bosses as well. This makes them to be able to deal some damage without needing to really level them. They are a little bit leveled on my build, but still. You could also run the physical orb if you run the physical promotion for extra attack speed. That would give you more crowd control for your slingers, but that works for me. I don't need that extra attack speed. That's all the items. Here's the Town Archer cannon items as well. So people always ask, why do I have 2 different set of cannons? And they are in here only to hold these cooldown skill level +1 line items. So only these yellow lines on my town cannons are doing anything for the builds. They are only there so that I can get 4 cooldown skill level +1 lines for this build. The treasures are the same as in my previous build, so full gold setup is what we are having in here basically, with the horn and also the highest level devil horn. So that's a given. I will not give up on that on any circumstances, so that will always remain in my build at this point. Then we can take a peek at the skill tree. So as I said, I have 206 skill points currently. I tried to make this build run with 160 skill points as well, and I will link image versions of both setups, for one image for 106 skill points and one image for 206 skill points, so you can take a picture version and save it for yourself if you want to take a closer look of these skill trees. So I will post those both in the description. Make sure to check those out after watching, but keep watching, we'll still have some stuff to go through. So basically this build starts from the poison path, and for Sarah and Succubus you will kind of want to have the full poison tree if possible. These are the Succubus nodes over here that you will want to have for Succubus. This one is not really required, not that great, because it will make the poison deal damage slower, and you want damage to be dealt as fast as possible, so you can skip this section, but otherwise these are the full poison stuff you want to run this build. Then I have the ice tree in here, and I also have the full ice tree in here as well for Poseidon, and these are the Poseidon runes over here at the top. Also everything that gives your cold units damage or critical chance or anything like that will help. They are not super required. You can run this with basically a very minimum setup, just getting the basic necessities in and the Poseidon runes in the gold tree. You can check the 160 skill points image in the description for that. There's also these runes that will lower the MP cost, and then there is this another rune node, that will give you more damage the more you have MP cost for your unit. So this will help you get more damage for your Poseidon as well. Not necessary, but when you have the extra skill points, you can pick this. So this will make your skill points, your MP cost reduction nodes, to become MP cost increase nodes. And then this one up above will increase your damage based on your increased MP costs. And then on here we have something that makes Poseidon's MP cost to become 0, but he still reaps the benefit of these two nodes over here. So that's why when we take a look at Poseidon in here, you can see his MP cost is 0, which is also great for my build in general, because that means I don't have to rely as much on Worm. Like, I don't have to invest so heavily in Worm to be able to keep up with the MP, so that kind of helps. Again, when you have the extra skill points, this becomes available. Also, what you need is, you will need to have the physical tree, at least partially, because you will need to get these nodes for your Dark Lightning Archer and Sarah. So if you want to run Sarah, you will need to get this node as well, otherwise it won't be that great. And when you are running Sarah, you will also need to have your Dark Lightning Archer, because the Archer trio buff, the attack speed buff, is applied to Sarah. So if you don't have Dark Lightning Archer, so as you can see, attacks per second 3.36 right now. If I take off my Dark Lightning Archer, it becomes 1.36. So you really want to have Dark Lightning Archer or Dark Bowmaster in your build if you are trying to run Sarah, just for the attack speed boost. Basically, you might be able to leave Dark Lightning Archer at level 10,000 and just take benefit from the attack speed boost, but I had some gold, so I decided to also level Dark Lightning Archer to become the 5th damage dealer for this build. So that's why you also kind of need to have the physical tree as well, and the Archer trio node for that purpose as well. And obviously you will also want to go for the summon tree. You will need the Slinger Pierce node, and you will need this increased monsters per wave if you are trying to run a gold Autobattle build, because more monsters means more gold during your waves. In the lightning tree, you just need, well, anything that boosts lightning damage for Zeus and Dark Lightning Archer, and of course like the Zeus nodes and stuff like that. And you can also kind of strip off some nodes from here if you're trying to run this with lower amount of skill points. Again, check the 160 skill points section in description. The only thing I have left to do basically for this setup would be to get this sword node in the fire tree. That requires 11 skill points. I believe I could refund something right now and reach it, but I'm not sure if that would be beneficial, so I'm gonna wait. I earn a couple of more points and then I'm gonna go and grab the fire sword node as well. But that's this full skill tree that I'm running currently for this particular setup right here. But yeah, I've been running this for a while now. It's been running nicely. I'm gonna keep on running it for a longer amount of time and try maybe some minor variations and see if I can get a little bit faster wave speed or some else improvements for this build. I would love to hear if you have been trying to use any gold heroes, for example. Leave a comment down below and tell me. I'm gonna show you quickly the farming as well. So this is my dragon build right now. I do not have Poseidon in here, even though we did invest quite heavily in Poseidon, because he doesn't really make a good farming hero. He's an extremely nice hero for waving and in Infinite Colony most likely as well, but for farming he doesn't really do much. So basically it's just Sarah, Succubus, Dark Lightning Archer and Zeus who are gonna be doing damage against the Bone Dragon, for example, and they deal with the Bone Dragon quite fast. My farming is a little bit slightly faster to do Bone Dragon with this setup than with my old setup. It's more than a little bit faster to do XP Dungeon with this setup. And Sarah is not that high in all of the waves, all of the dragon battles. As you can see, there's also a lot of variation in here. She's second, and in here she's just fourth. And one of the reasons for that is because my kill time is quite fast. So Sarah needs to wait for her strafe to be active the first time during the dragon battle. And by the time that happens, the dragon is already like 30% HP, down to 30% HP. So she doesn't get to use the strafe ability that long before the battle is over. If your battles take longer, you will reap more benefit from the strafe. So Sarah should be even stronger if you have a longer kill time. But for me, it's still a little bit faster than what I previously got.